Welcome back to the Laserdisc Repair Bench. In this video, we have a Pioneer CLD-V870 karaoke player. This is a Laserdisc player, but it's specialized in being a karaoke disc player. This player comes to us from eBay. There was a report of a L1 error on the display, and this player is manufactured in August 1996. The primary issue described with this player is that it was showing an L1 error on the display and the tray was not quite ejecting right. So let's open this up and see what we can do to fix it. Well, it turns out you guys are going to get my first voiceover. The microphone cut out during this whole segment of opening the player. And as I pop the lid off, I see the name Nayeli Garcia. And the name is on the power supply. It's on every board of the player. It's even on the tray with initials. And so I'm just, as I open this and look at this, I'm just kind of processing it and wondering what happened there. So we're turning the player on for the first time, and the noise doesn't come through, but it's not able to lift the assembly the whole way, and so I had to help it with my hand. And the tray is also really pokey to come out, kind of gets stuck, and so it retracts. And I think on the second try here, it comes out. So I pull the tray and just check for any broken teeth on the back of it. I thought it had broken teeth just because of how it got stuck coming out of the player. It turned out not to be the case. The next thing I do is just cycle this thing through and simulate a tray entering the player and going through the loading cycle just to see where any other faults may be. The next thought is let's get a test disc in there. And I know when I recorded this, I do reassure people that this is only a test disc. That's its only job. I know it's hard to see a disc be put in there and possibly scraped up. But this does spin up, and it reads fine once it gets some help going. I know when I do chapter searches later on in this, the laser really struggles to move along to the different chapters. And I think I'm just pointing out his name again in the player. So as we flip to side B, it does a successful flip, but the concern is once I change the chapter, it really grinds and it's really slow. It takes a while to find its spot, and to me that normally indicates a bad motor holder. And what I'm doing right here is I've got a little bit of noise from the machine, so I'm just checking it for square and making sure that the chassis didn't get bent in shipping. It wasn't really a squeal, it was more just a vibration noise. And I do notice it more so when the disc is first spinning up, when it's on the inside part of the disc and it's spinning the fastest. And here I am. I think I picked chapter 3 on the disc, and it's struggling, as I talked about just a little while ago. So we go ahead and stop it. We get the laser back onto side A, and at this point we just decide to pull the disc, and I talk about it being a test disc here. A little out of order here in my voiceover versus what happened in the video. The audio after this little short clip should not be an issue anymore. I just lost my microphone for about 5 minutes. So I think I'm going through different things that we're going to look at. We're going to go ahead and take the player apart and change out the belt. We're going to clean up the spindle motor pad. It's really dirty. And we're also going to replace the motor holder in there. So I hope I have a different one on now. So I hope the audio isn't too bad. All right, so really good at writing his name, not good at cleaning the spindle pad. And it looks like this has the motor holder that is susceptible to breakage, so we'll be taking that off like in a lot of the other videos and replacing it. So we're going to clean this. We're going to change out the motor holder, and we will change out the belt. Let's take a look at that belt. Not too bad. Little misshapen right there. But we're going to proactively replace this. Just a good idea to do it anyways. To get access to the laser, we're going to pop this back cover off. Here, get this out of the way. Oopsie. And last but not least, there is a screw right inside here. If you're ever putting all these screws back, the other four that I removed, the first four, are that big, and this one is a little bit shorter that goes right inside here. I can tell you it's already broken because that does not fall out like that normally. So the chapter searching part that we had trouble with earlier when I was playing that disc, most likely due to the broken motor holder. Yep, both broken. I can start with this screwdriver, but normally I need to switch to this one to get more torque. I don't know if it's because there's smaller screws, smaller holes, smaller threads, etc. But I tend to have more luck with this one. Okay, let's put this thing back in. We'll do a little cleanup first. Okay, that'll do for now for that. Get this thing all cleaned up. And I've got some new grease. We're going to try this out. And a little thing here, when you go to put this back on, this is slightly curved in, this end is, and then this one has a light ridge on the front. So this is going to go towards the back. Just think the laser coming back down from side B to side A, it's going to not catch on this nearly as much as this blunt front end. What was I thinking? Forgot to clean this. Whew. Okay, much better. All right, before we snap this into place, it's kind of hard to see, but you want to make sure the back end is on the collar. In the back, there's a little pin that it goes onto. And then we want to make sure this side is tucked under this here. All right, good. We have movement. So that takes care of replacing the motor holder. We've got this pad kind of cleaned up. I'm going to give it another cleaning shortly, but wanted to clean it while we had everything kind of open. So we'll get side B rail back in. I'm going to give this a little bit of a cleaning while we have this open. Let's get a belt out. Don't want any grease on the belts. Yeah, this is probably the best angle. Without moving the camera, I just wanted to see the belt change. So I like to put it on the big pulley first. There we go. So now, I feel this thing's a little bit crooked with the rocking. Now, we'll plug it back in. And we'll just go through a loading cycle or two. Okay. Get the tray. All right, no issues with ejecting the tray, no issues with raising the mechanism. That looks like it takes care of a lot of our issues. So what else is left? We've got to try and clean up this front display. This is awfully scratchy. I'm actually going to see if I've got a spare display because the CD and play and stop buttons are kind of scratched up. There's actually a gouge in this CD one. Okay, let's close that back up. And we're going to put a full-size disc in. Again, test disc. That's all it does. Well, it's not going to work. I don't have the clamper in. Silly me. Apparently I've lost my clamper mechanism screws. Officially going crazy here. Okay, that's better. And we're reading. Let's press play. Looks good. Let's try and change a track. Wee little bit of a rattle. So these are all kind of yellow backlit, and then this is green. It's kind of hard to tell. You can kind of see it a little bit. All right, let's do side B. All right, we're playing. Looking good. Okay, so it's 13. Let's try and change to 14. Cool. That was pretty quick seek time. Yeah. Okay, so we've got successful playback. Let's stop this. Make sure that we go back from side B to side A. Go ahead and eject it. Eject is working much smoother. All right, let's turn this off. Just to get a little bit of a closer look here. So we've got some karaoke features here. Another thing to look out for if you have one of these units is to make sure you're in normal mode and not auxiliary input or karaoke. And you also want to make sure that single play is not lit if you're trying to play back a normal LD movie, because that will just loop you around on the same chapter. Again, we have 2 mic inputs, not standard unless you have a karaoke model, and then some more options here, key control. And so a little bit of a different kind of player, but you still got the A and B side. You've got the chapters, as I talked about before, stop, play, and then CD and LD, eject. And you can kind of see CD is got a scratch in it. But overall, good looking unit. This tray front faceplate is going to need a little bit of work, but we'll clean that up and see what else is wrong with it. All right, we're back, and the next couple things we're going to do, I looked in my parts bin and I found this. I believe it's for a CLD-V880. It looks identical to this faceplate, and so we're going to pull this one off and compare the boards and look at everything. I did try to find a service manual for the V880 and I couldn't find one, but they look very similar. I think the buttons are a different color. Like these buttons are a different color. These are white rather than kind of a yellowish tint on those. But like I said, we'll pull this cover off and we'll do board by board comparison and just make sure everything looks the same. And then the other thing we're going to do before we close this unit up for good is install a digital audio out mod. I like to do that in most players, and this one already has AC3. So we're just going to do the optical out. We're just going to pop the tray out. And at this point, we just pull power to the unit. We're just going to lift up. There's these clips here, 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 and here. So you just kind of have to work one side to the other. There's not really a lot keeping us in here. So this one just pulls straight out. You can't see it, sorry. And then same for this ribbon cable. There is no release or anything to lift up on with either one of those. So really simple to pull that out. But here we have both versions. Just doing a quick look. Different chipset on here. And worst case scenario, we can always just pull buttons. If we're looking strictly at the CDLD, I would just pull all these top buttons and switch them. So, in the interest of experimentation, we're going to go ahead and install this. And we'll fire it up. And probably can't see it, but I'm just pushing the cables back into place. No trick there, just reasonable amount of force, push them back in. All right, faceplate back on. There's no screws holding it. Okay. It looks like we're plugged in okay. All right. Just put the other faceplate back in. Again, I'm just swapping back over to the V870 faceplate. And I'm just going to apply power. Yeah, we're getting standby power now. So this thing was just not very happy about being switched over. So we're back to standby. So the new plan will be to possibly even extract the boards from this screen and do a flop, because this looks so much nicer, the condition of this faceplate, and I'm not going to use this extra faceplate for anything else. So I'll do that off camera and get those swapped into place. Okay. We have a standby light, which I actually have to fix because that is set back further, where the lens is missing or something like that. Yeah, there's a lens right here. I'll just pull that from the old faceplate. Okay, so that part's finished. And I'll clean that up a little bit more. Okay, so to wrap this up, then we're going to go ahead and do the digital board. And we've already got the tray out, so we're going to have to dismantle this side of things, but not a big deal. So we're going to take this bracket out, and this plugs in kind of like a daughter board or a PCI card on a computer. And then I think the same for this one. Yeah. So both these boards will come out. I believe the audio chip is on this main board. There you go. And for this one, just unplug that. So this has RCA jacks on the back. We're going to lift up first, and then it'll come out. And something important to show you. On the back, on these newer models, they have this split here, which is awesome. So you don't have to take the whole back off. You can just take this section right here. So screw, and I think 2 more screws. But either way, it makes working on this machine a lot easier. Okay, just checking for more screws. That's for the tray guide. There's one screw right inside on the board that anchors it to the back. There we go. Pops right off. Okay. We have a screw right here. It scoots right out. There is our main board. And I think it's this Sanyo chip here. It's hard to see. But that should be our audio board. I see integrated circuit 802. That sounds right. All right, I have my spot figured out on this. And it's circled in black here. It's pin 56. So the yellow line right before that doesn't go Either doesn't go anywhere, but 56 definitely goes to these two small pads here. All right. Okay, I think we'll go ahead and there's no through holes on here. So we're just going to wrap around on the side. I do want to reinforce that a little bit. We'll put some tape down. Perfect. So this back panel, there's a tab that fits underneath here, not over it. And the mod is not finished yet. It's obviously just hanging here. But I'm putting this back together for the purposes of testing, since we took it apart, unplugged ribbon cables, and the like. Always good to test this thing in stages. All right, looks good. I don't want to raise this too much, but you can see we do have playback. All right, so on to the last part of this, which is finishing the digital audio out mod. All right, I've got it a little more zoomed in just to hopefully pick up the detail. There's a lot of different spots on this board you can tap into. I'm trying to stay on the audio board, so I've got my ground right here. And then my positive 5 volts is right here. So obviously not the easiest way to solder on. There's other spots. I just prefer to stay in that area. And you can also do this before you put these boards back in place. It's going to be a lot easier on you. I'm going to zoom this back out, and we're going to look at where to connect to on the back panel. All right, we got this in a little bit better position now. So here is the jack we're going to be putting in, and kind of just moving this around. This would definitely get in the way of the audio out. It would look really good there. Same for here. It's just a little too tight. So I think the best spot would be right here or right here. Kind of looks maybe a little bit out of place over here. This is closer to the audio. So I think we'll do right there. And we're just going to try and make it as close as we can. And then it won't intersect with this aux or this audio out sign. Okay. So the first step is going to be pulling this back off. And there we have it, all soldered up. All right, we're going to do a quick test and power this thing on. We have a light. Wonderful. All right, I'll get this thing set back down and we'll run it through a test and make sure we get digital audio out. Okay, last final test here. We're going to go ahead and put a disc in, and we're going to check out the digital output. And I've got the soundbar up above. That's turned on already. And the only thing connected to this player is the digital output we just added. A little noisy. Chapters in. There we go. Yeah, sorry about the chatter noise, but we do have audio. Let's unplug it.
You know exactly what you lost, what you dropped.
Ta-da.
20, all right? I was down at least 50. I'm sorry. I got left down the crap table. Right? You should be sorry. You're a winner. I'm the fucking loser.
Let's turn this down. Okay, so to recap, we have replaced the motor holder in here. We greased the metal shaft that the laser rides along, and we replaced the belt. And then while we were in there, we went ahead and we took this side of the player apart, and we installed the digital audio out. So this player has been put through the ringer. I'm going to take a look and see why it's chattering a little bit still when it moves chapters. But it may just be I need to put a little bit more grease on that rail, or something easy that I'm just missing. But anyways, that should wrap up this video. Thanks for watching and staying with me if you've been a subscriber for a bit. And we'll see you on the next one. I almost forgot one more thing. Tell me in the comments what I should do with this, the name, all over the board, the tray, the power supply, everything. Should I erase it, or should we preserve Nayeli Garcia as the forever owner of this player?